Now Indus Valley Civilization you have to study here. What will you study about Indus Valley Civilization? How did it originate? Who originated it? When it started, etc. etc. Sorry? Sources. What kind of sources from where we are going to understand history? Places. Ante, because you're talking about civilization, can I say it's the first civilization in India? First civilization means first cities. Should you have to give some importance to those first cities and find out some details? I've written that also. Okay. Political conditions, economic conditions, social, religious, and last heading, decline. These are how you are going to study. Yes, please. Second thing that you are going to do, apart from the side headings, is go to this. Before every chapter, go to Wikipedia, the chapter, and you will get some images. When you see certain things, I always tell visual memory will be more important than verbal memory. Yes, please. You'll listen. Sorry, you'll remember more what you see than what you simply listen. So it's always good that you do some images and see and come to the class. Okay. So let us start with this. Again, introduction I've given there that at that time, Indus Valley Civilization is not the only civilization, and you all know what were the two other civilizations that were there, Mesopotamia and Egyptian civilization. Okay, but still you will study that although Indus Valley Civilization is not the oldest, but later on you will understand that it is the largest. And can I say it has certain features. I'm talking to those people whom I'm expecting have read something and come. Okay, can I say Indus Valley, if not the oldest, not only the largest, but some of the most advanced than other two. Yes, please. In many features which are there in us, you will not find in Mesopotamia or Egyptian civilizations. Okay. And now, before we can study, understand who these people were, how they invented this civilization, etc., etc. First, you should study who. How do you and I know about this civilization? Someone should have gone there, worked and done that excavations, saw these things, yes or no? Only then we will be able to discuss anything further. Okay. Someone is saying the name of that man who is responsible for this discovery. John Marshall. Dayaram Sahni is the Indian, but he is working under the guidance of John Marshall. Okay. He is the Director General of Archaeological Survey of India at that time. Okay. That is the introduction part that I've given you all. Second heading, sources are discovery. Sources. Okay. We all know two types of sources, archaeological, literary. Did we get archaeological sources from here? Did we get literary sources? Yes, but of no use. Why? We have not deciphered the script as such. Okay. So I've given you a small warning or a caution over there. You know what is the caution or warning? That our views and conclusions that we derive about IVC should not be considered final. They might have to be changed or revised. Why? I've given you some reasons over there. Tell me. Tomorrow sometime if we decode the literary sources and understand the script, is there a possibility that we might have to change our conclusions on IVC? Because you will get new information, and that new information you might want to change. Okay. Archaeological sources that we are having in our hand, do they represent the entire sources from the past, or many of them would have decomposed, some of them would have got flooded and all these things. So what you have in hand is a very few. On the basis of very few resources, you can't make definite conclusions. Okay. And we have some nearly 1500 sites. You know how many of these sites have actually been excavated? Not even a fraction. Because we don't have that interest, no. How many of our parents really from childhood they encourage us to take up history, archaeology, pilot ka, go and join the army, illa only MPC, BPC, doctor, engineer, and my son, my daughter should live the best life possible, let other people die. Ante they should go to 9 o'clock in the office, evening 5 ravala, manchi sampayinchukovala, enjoy chesi chachipovala. That's all the average Indian mentality. You really don't have any such people motivating you to do all these things. Any of your parents have told you go to space? ISRO lo join ga, DRD lo join ga, become a scientist? No. Silly man. Your parents and my parents also, okay, included. My parents would doctor, IAS, IIT. Inte. As if there is nothing else that you can do in this world. There are so many things. We are ignorant, completely ignorant. Okay, that's the reason. In spite 1500 sites, not even 1500 sites have been excavated properly here. You can imagine whatever knowledge you and I have today are based on excavations of 1,500 sites. How many sites are more left? 1,400 sites are left. As new research emerges, new evidence comes up, we might have to change our conclusions again. Yes or no, please? These are all some reasons that I've given there. Why, when you talk about Indus Valley Civilization, many a times, I will show you certain place. I've been repeatedly using this. May have been. For example, do one thing. Flip a few pages towards the end of the chapter. You will come to Indus Polity and untadi. Which page? Polity. 12. 1, 2. 12th page. See the first line that I've written. For lack of understanding of the Indus script, it is difficult to say with a great certainty about the exact nature of Indus political system. There are two debates. We'll see that now. And see the next para. Based on the available evidences, that is whatever evidences we have now, it seems that, I'm not saying it is or it was, okay. It seems that Indus polity may have been. Am I saying Indus polity was central system? No, I'm simply saying may have been, which means am I leaving room or gap for future revision of my views? So that's the reason why one has to be slightly careful about drawing definite conclusions on Indus Valley, many aspects. Come back again, second page. Now, is there a possibility that archaeological sources can also be interpreted differently by different people? We all know events in the past can be interpreted differently. Events in the past can be interpreted differently by different people, scholars. Same way, archaeological sources can also be interpreted differently. Have you come across this person? Today, go back home and see the images of Indus Valley Civilization. Okay? Don't put a blank face if I show some pictures tomorrow. Pashupati, a seal, a small tablet kind of a thing. On that, you find a man sitting in a yogic posture. Right? Now, some scholars call that person depicted there as Pashupati. Why Pashupati? Pashu ante animals. You see many animals surrounding that person. So, some way people are calling him as Pashupati. But some scholars have also tried to call this man, anyone? What do you mean by the word proto? In the process of emergence. So you can't call that person as Shiva, but you're trying to, some scholars are trying to say that this may be probably this figure later on in the later times became Shiva. Now, at that time you're calling him Shiva, but in the later he would have become Shiva. Now, all scholars may not accept that. They will saying that what, how can you tell that he's representing some form of Shiva? Because you are seeing this person, this Pashupati seal from the eyes of the later periods and imagining for yourself that he may be Proto-Shiva. Are you able to understand that? So can I call, what is the correct name by which I should call this seal? Should I call it as Proto-Shiva or should I call it more correctly as Pasupati? Pashupati will be a correct word because you see some Pasu over there. And you say that some scholars may call this person as Proto-Shiva. Oh, sorry, come to Mohenjo-daro city. Tell you the page number 6. Come to 7. Come to 7. Pashupati Seelan unde. Second para maybe. See the last line. He is often considered as representing a Proto-Shiva. Often. And I am not saying he is Proto-Shiva. Did I write like that? No. Often considered as Proto-Shiva by some scholars. Next, in the same page, you will find slightly above, bearded man statue and asana. Some people are also calling him as what? See the last line? Priest king. Now you see, he is sometimes also called as priest king. I am not saying he is priest king. But when you see the picture, did you all see that picture of this man? Anyone? Is a person having some beard. So correct description of that statue will be called bearded man. Now, when I call that statue as bearded man, think and tell me, am I simply describing what I am seeing or am I trying to give my interpretation? I am simply describing that. That's a description. That's not an interpretation. But when I try to say, That bearded man as what? Priest, king. Then probably it is not a description but an interpretation. I hope you got that. That's why we have to be slightly careful when drawing conclusions about certain things in your Indus Valley Civilization. That's what I've written in the sources. That brings us to the discovery. How did you and I come to know that this civilization ever existed at all? The discovery itself has several phases, episodes. 1830s, 50s, 70s, 1902, so many things have happened there. 1830s, for the first time, a European by name Charles Mason has traveled in that area and has witnessed the Harappan city. Okay, listen. The story, no need to write anything, just listen and leave it. Okay. This man was actually working in British East India Company army. British were already ruling India in 1830s. Were they ruling India already? 1830s, by the time did the British rule India? Plassey and Buxar and 1764, 57 itself. They happened. This man is serving in British East India Company. But he doesn't like to be, his passion is not soldier, warrior life. His passion is collecting ancient remains. And he had an interest in archaeology. One day he ran away from the army. He was posted in Bengal. Now if you run away from army, I hope you know what kind of punishments you will get. Okay, if they catch you. This man ran away straight from Bengal to Punjab, from this end to that end, so that he doesn't want to get caught. Okay, there this man went and started collecting many things that he is finding there in the Punjab and Sindh region. What is he collecting actually? Tell me. The remains of what? That Indus Valley Civilization. Okay, he took some of the remains. He went to Britain. There he wrote a book on this remains that he found in Punjab and Sindh. But no one realized the importance of the discovery of this man has done. Actually, he has already discovered what? Indus Valley Civilization. But no one is understanding the importance. So no one took care, and no further excavations, and no one realized what this man excavated. If any one of them would have realized what would have happened, think and tell me. They would have come and done. If you already got so many, which means there should have been many more things we can discover there, and systematic excavations would have been done and discovery would have happened there itself. But because no one is realizing the importance, no one is taking care. Next we move on to the year 1850s. That is a slightly tragic episode in the history of IVC. Okay, there in Punjab, that by 1850s British had conquered Punjab also. In Punjab they want to railway lines they want to put, and you all know that when you put two railway tracks, you put a bed of rocks on which you put these tracks, right? Okay, that bed of rock is called as ballast. Now when people railway engineers wanted to put railway lines in Punjab and Sindh, they want a source of stone which they can use to break and lay down the ballast. So they asked the local people there, is there any stone here available? They said, sir, we don't have any stone, but we have some ancient buildings over here which are made with bricks, which are so strong that they can still serve as stones. And these fools, these railway engineers, not knowing what they are going to destroy, they started going to that nearby area and started whatever ancient buildings are there, they started destroying them, collecting the bricks, breaking them down, and started laying down ballast. It was only in the later times that we came to realize that what these people have destroyed was the particular city called Harappa. Under the ancient buildings of Harappa, which have been existing there. What is the time period when they are constructing these railways? 1850s. Kada? What is the year of the beginning of the civilization? 1850 CE. Is this 1850 CE only? Sure, huh? How many years have gone past? 2600 plus another 2000, and 4600 we will reduce to 100. Matlab 4400 years. These 4400 years the bricks have been lying in open atmosphere, in rain, in summer, in winter. Still imagine the quality of the brick, how strong it should have been that they are using it for ballast. Now these are not protected monuments, right? Protected, are we? Till that time were they protected? No, they are simply lying like that. Don't you think in that several thousands of years, many local communities who would have come across that area, they would have used many such bricks? Yes or no? Imagine, that was the big loss for Indus Valley Civilization 1850s. And I hope in the 1870s itself I have written about this man. Who is this man? father of Indian archaeology or founder of Archaeological Survey of India. Kadana. He was one of the members of the railway engineer team. That's when he started getting interest in archaeology. Later on, he left the railway engineering job and came and became a full-fledged archaeology. And in that part, when they were searching for that, when they are destroying that ballast and all, don't you think they might have found some nice, interesting items? One such item that fell in this guy's hand was a seal. And looking at that seal, he was very impressed, and he wrote an article on that seal also. Problem internet, even now no one is understanding that importance of that seal or the discovery, and no systematic excavations are happening in that area. As a result, the discovery of that civilization is become further pending. And we move on to the year 1902, is slightly important. There is a Governor General at India at that time called Curzon. You know what is the position of, what do you mean by Governor General? Highest British officer in India at that time was called, that post is called Governor General. At that time there was a man called Curzon. You will study about Curzon in national movement when you come to modern India. Is a very, very toxic person, but still he did some good to India, unknowingly. Okay, this Curzon always had a passion for preserving ancient culture. Okay, and he saw that when he became the Governor General, that Archaeological Survey of India is not functioning as it is expected to. And understanding that he wants to revive Archaeological Survey, he appointed this young man called John Marshall as the Director General of Archaeological Survey. Okay, and now you think and tell me, generally for an all India body, will you appoint a young, inexperienced person or a very experienced man or a woman to that highest position? Experienced, but you know what he did? He did not appoint an experienced person, he appointed an enthusiastic person. Even though he is young, who? John Marshall. He still appointed this fellow as the Director General of Archaeological Survey because he found that he may not have experience, but he has interest. He has enthusiasm. One appoint this guy is also intelligent. He now, because he wants to do excavations, archaeological excavations, he thought that he should train some Indian archaeologists, because he felt Indians might be more interested in discovering their own past. And then he started building a team. And one member of the team was, I've written there, Dayaram Sahni. This team, he built a team and sent Dayaram Sahni, saying that, why did you think he sent Dayaram Sahni to Punjab and Sindh only? Who is the founder of this body, Archaeological Survey? Alexander Cunningham. What is the position he is occupying in that organization, the highest authority? He went and started studying about Cunningham. And in that process, he came to know that Cunningham published some seal, 1870s. Felt that looking at that article, he understood, okay, if such a beautiful item has been discovered, if I go and do some searching over there, I might discover something very important and big. With that idea, he sent Dayaram Sahni, Pora Babu, go and do some excavations over there. And fortunately for him, you know what happened? Chapale. Dayaram Sahni discovered the first city there. Now I'm not simply saying it's a small site where you found some tools. No, when as he was digging that site, he is finding some huge houses. He is finding between that houses, there is a clear geometrical patterns where the streets are cutting each other at 90 degrees. Now please tell me, will such things, such kind of constructions be of people like hunting gatherers? Definitely no. Should these people have been, it's a city, clearly it's a city, showing that it is a civilization. He got a hint that he is about to discover a ancient civilization, and immediately, I did not write the extra points, first listen and then I made you add. There was another person called Rakaldas Banerjee, another Indian archaeologist this man has trained. He told Rakaldas Banerjee, go to that nearby area near Harappa and try to find some other cities. And this man comes and finds Mohenjo-daro. And 2 cities happening. Now he sent another archaeologist, Indian archaeologist. I'll make you write now, first listen. That person's name is Madhav Swarupats. He told Madhav Swarupats, Marshall is telling him, go and understand, go to Harappa, go to Mohenjo-daro, and tell me if the items that you found there are having any similarities. And what is going on in John Marshall's mind? He wants to find out whether these 2 cities are related to each other or random different cities. And as expected by John Marshall, there were a lot of similarities between Harappa and Mohenjo-daro. What does it tell you? Can I say both the cities were belonging to the same civilization? Right? Now Marshall became confident and announced to the world that he discovered Indus Valley Civilization, and that was all happening in the year 1920-21. If you'll see, last 2-3 years ago, it was 100 years. 2025 lo no kada 21, it was 1921 it discovered. So 2021 was 100 years of discovery of IVC. While teaching there, I was expecting UPSC might ask some question, but 100 years annappudu, everyone will expect that a question might come, but you all know that what you will expect. UPSC అది ఏడాడు, what you don't expect, no, అదే వస్తాడు దరిద్రుడు. Anywhere near that discovery point, after the diagram points and all, towards the end of that para, I want you people to add 2 points. Go ahead. Then at that point, as I remember, I did not write about Madhusparupats and soon Marshall sent 4-5 lines you'll get. Soon, Marshall sent Rakal Das Banerjee. Rakal Das Banerjee, who discovered Harappa, Mohenjo-daro, who discovered Mohenjo-daro, and later Madho Swarup Vats, and later Madho Swarup Vats confirmed the similarities between Harappa and Mohenjo-daro. And later Madho Swarup Vats confirmed the similarities between Harappa and Mohenjo-daro. Come on. Showing that both these cities belong to one civilization. Showing that both these cities belong to one civilization. Okay. Come back to the handout. Let us see what is written there. I think I should have written about significance of discovery. Yes, please. Now, before 1921, when IVC was discovered, Britishers were thinking that Indian history started with Vedic age. What were the years of Vedic age? 1500 BCE. Okay. But now with the discovery of this, can I say Indian history has been pushed back by 1000 years. 1500 to 2600. Clearly by 1000 years, our Indian history became more old. Okay. And at that time, what were the British people doing? It seems to see there. Hunting gathering stage uన్నారు వాళ్ళు just coming out of hunting gathering stage, and by that time our people were having world's first flush toilets and rasunta. Flush toilets and not the ones which we use. Okay, after that they'll simply put waste water from that the flush it, and that will go. You might have studied drainage system. Yes, please. They have drains from house and they go into street drains, and they'll all be disposed somewhere in the outside the city. Next, origin. Now you tell me, if try to see from the point of view of these archaeologists who have discovered that city. Put yourself in the shoes of these archaeologists. What will some questions come to your mind? First of all, naturally you will come, who built this brick civilization here? Who were these people? When did they build this? Where did they build this? And how did they build this civilization? That's what I think I have given there in the next point. Origin. See, 4 headings I have given there. Racial identity of Indus people, brackets have written. Who? Next. How did they build this? The process. Next, chronology, or when did they build the civilization, and where? Geographical extent, where? Okay. I'll stop today's class here. Actually, I have a class immediately at 2 o'clock. Otherwise, from tomorrow, again, I have a class at 3 o'clock. I'll take 2 hours full. But today, I'll just leave a bit earlier. Read and come. I hope those people who have read and come, you would have clearly seen a benefit that reading and coming will be more beneficial for you all. If those who have not read and come, you would have definitely seen some gap over there. Okay. Read and come, it's good for you.